Quazi here. There's an underground society that keeps popping up and has fascinated seekers of hidden knowledge for centuries. I want to take you back to a time when Europe was shrouded in darkness, plagued by religious conflict and societal upheaval. Now, this was in the early 17th century that whispers of a mysterious brotherhood began to circulate, sparking intrigue and curiosity among scholars and intellectuals. Now, this secret group, known as the Rosicrucians, claimed to possess esoteric wisdom that promised to unveil the secrets of the universe. Now, it's thought that the Rosicrucian Order was founded by a German alchemist and philosopher who allegedly embarked on a journey to the Holy Land, where he discovered this ancient knowledge from wise Persian, Arab, and Turkish sages. Upon his return, he established the Order of the Rose Cross, otherwise known as the Rosicrucian Order, an esoteric movement dedicated to the pursuit of spiritual enlightenment and the advancement of human understanding. Now, as the story goes, the Rosicrucians were said to possess detailed knowledge of alchemy, astrology, and other arts, which they believed could unlock the hidden potential of the human mind. Their teachings included a wide range of subjects, from metaphysics to healing, from the nature of the soul to the secrets of the stars. And throughout history, the Rosicrucians have left clues and cryptic symbols that hint at their profound insights. Some even believe that prominent figures like Sir Isaac Newton were influenced by the Rosicrucian movement after it was discovered that he owned a heavily annotated copy of a book called The Fame and Confession of the Fraternity RC, which included an English translation of the Rosicrucian manifestos. Today, the legacy of the Rosicrucians continues to endure worldwide, albeit in secret, as their influence can clearly be seen in the realms of philosophy, mysticism, and even modern spirituality. Upon studying the Rosicrucian arts, something peculiar struck me about their teachings and the implications that it could have on your life if properly applied. In today's video, I'm going to share with you the secrets of reality creation that the Rosicrucians kept closely hidden, and how you can apply these lessons to your own life to create your own reality. So, with that, let's get started. To dive right into the deepest Rosicrucian knowledge, I would like to begin this video with a quote. "The idea to be held in mind is that of rising above these lower levels of fear, anger, and worry to the plane of indifference, cheerfulness, and confidence. The first step to be taken is to gain control of the will." And this was said by Max Heindel, who is the founder of the Rosicrucian Fellowship in the Rosicrucian Mysteries. There's some important parts to this quote. And fundamentally, what this quote really is trying to say is that wishful thinking will do nothing. Okay? So the important part to this quote is when he says, the first step to be taken is to gain control of the will. So I want you to understand a fundamental difference here. Indirectly, he talks about wishful thinking, which is when we desire something. How many times in your life have you thought about a goal and you thought, oh, that would be nice. It would be nice to have financial freedom. It would be nice to have that kind of partner, but oh, it's not for me. Oh, I've tried it. Oh, it's only for the select few who have the resources, talent, knowledge, and you've started to doubt yourself in your own ability, right? You felt this inner contraction. And this is where desire comes in. So if you wanted to create your reality, if you want to be a very, very powerful creator of your reality, you have to understand the fundamental difference between desire and intention, but also in particular, the two different types of intention that we're going to get into later. Let's begin with understanding desire. Desire can be described as wishful thinking. And this pretty much does nothing. If you just sit there and daydream, you think about, oh, if I got that, that would be great. But anyway, back to my herb-derb daily life, right? I remember as a kid, I would daydream and think about all of these things as though it would be nice. Now, don't get me wrong. It's important to have desire, because without desire, life wouldn't function. So wishful thinking is good, but it's ineffective if it just ends at wishful thinking. Something else needs to happen. And this is where intention comes in. The next part of this is when desire becomes intention. This wishful thinking becomes willful thinking. The first step to be taken is to gain control of the will. So when we become willful thinkers, when we say, that would be nice, but then we ground it with, I'm going to have that. I want that. But then a level above I want that is, I will have that. I don't care how. I don't care what I have to do. I will have it. And this is when you tap into pure intention. So to very, very closely demonstrate what intention looks like, it's kind of like when you stop thinking and wishing. It's when you just act, when it's pure action. There is no thinkingness involved. So an action like that would be raising your hand, going to the mailbox and grabbing your mail, going to the shop and getting a sandwich. You have a desire. A desire arises for you to raise your hand or to itch your back or to go and get your mail. Instead of thinking about it before you do it, which is where procrastination arises, right? You simply fully transmute that desire into action. Now, there is physical action and mental action. Most people are stuck in the realm of physical action. Being stuck in this realm of physical action is actually very ineffective because action is what? It's an effect. Physical action is an effect of mental action. Something is causing physical action. When I think the right thoughts, it becomes easier for me to take the right actions. Otherwise, I'm going to be fighting against myself. If my thoughts are incorrect, there is no question of acting. If you're demotivated and you're forcing yourself to do something, you're always going to be fighting against an invisible force, are you not? We need to get this internal world right before we take correct action. So this is where intention comes in. Let's understand what intention really means. So going back to those different rungs, the last rung is, I don't care how it happens, I will have it. The purest form of intention is the resolve to have. And a level below that is the resolve to act. If we were to define intention, we would say that intention is closely defined as the resoluteness in my decision to have and to act. It's that simple. The key word here is the resoluteness and a decision. Have you noticed how anytime a massive change has happened in your life, it came from a place of pure decision? You simply made a decision and you had no other choice. That's why a lot of people talk about burning the bridges. They say you must burn the bridges in order to be able to get to what you want. If you give yourself a way out, you're going to take it. And to a certain extent, that's true. If you have too many choices, you're going to get overwhelmed. If becoming successful is the only choice you have, there is no other way. If you have no distractions in your environment, what are you supposed to do? Get to work and do the things that you need to do, right? But the problem right now a lot of people are going through is they have too many choices, there's too many options, and they don't know what to choose. So have you noticed how in your life when you've made a change, it came from a place of there is just no other way. I cannot be here, I cannot be stuck like this. If you've gone through some form of addiction, if you've gone through some form of compulsive thinking about something or worrying about something, and you said to yourself, from this moment onwards, no more. If you've been stuck at a 9 to 5, kind of like I have, and when I looked at it and I looked at the next 40 years of my life and what it could look like if I was stuck in this same job, within me the decision was, it cannot be like this. No way. I will not tolerate this. Then the question arises, what instead? So from that place, I can make a resolute decision. So to begin any sort of the initiation of going from desire to intention is that resolve. The thing that gets you from desire to intention is a resolve in your decision. Most people, unfortunately, get to this place from a deep pain. I'm not saying that's ineffective. It is still very, very effective to come from a place of pain and make a resolute decision. The problem only arises when you keep staying stuck in that pain and you keep reliving that pain and that trauma again and again. You let it haunt your life. That pain should only be used to make a firm, committed decision. And when you've made that decision, you focus on your decision. When people keep reliving their pain in their minds, that is the birth of suffering. Pain is very, very necessary. Suffering is not. Understand that we need to have a resolve to have and to act. Now, most people are very good when they have this resolve to go out and act. They say, I will do whatever is necessary. I will fight to earn a place under the sun. I will grind every single day and take massive action. That's great. More often than not though, this leads to you fighting against the flow of life. So right now, if you imagine life as a river or an ocean, it has a flow to it. Sometimes it wants to take you to a certain direction. Other times it wants to take you to another direction. Sometimes you don't like the stream that you're being taken to. Only then should you exert effort in changing the stream. But most of the time people are trying to swim upwards because they're impatient, they want the result now. So when we operate from a place of just pure acting, and we want it now, this is a clear sign that we do not trust the divine, the powers that be, to deliver us to our goals. So when we function from this pure place of acting, we're using our personal, our petty, or our inner intention. Please understand this. This is crucial for you to understand. The resoluteness in your decision to act is inner intention. The resoluteness in your decision to have is outer intention. When you're not concerned at all with when it happens or how it happens, you only care about having it, that is you using outer intention. Outer intention is the intention that both belongs to us and does not belong to us at the same time. It's the worldly intention. It's the God intention, if you will. The greatest works of art, the pyramids, all the unexplainable, mysterious things that have happened, or even things in your life that were unexplainable, most likely it was the work of outer intention. It's when you were completely in alignment with the thing that you wanted and you completely surrendered to it. So I'm going to show you by the end of this video how to get to that in the next part of this video. But for now, I want you to understand the difference between inner and outer intention, because if you understand this, you'll be able to become aware of it in your daily life and as a result apply it. Our goal is to transmute this desire into intention. How do we do that? The trigger point is when we make a resolute decision to have and to act. If you can simply say to yourself, it would be nice to have that. And if you can go from that to, I want that, to, I will have that. I will do anything that's necessary. One way or another, I will have it. It is mine. It's already happened. I've made the decision and it's done. If you can get to that place within yourself, you will have it. The question becomes, how do we get there? Remember in the beginning of this video, we talked about the different doubts that we have, the different fears that we have. And I remember when I started off and I was able to quit my job and get to my first milestone, which I'm going to share with you. Before I did that, there was a lot of fear, there was a lot of anxiety, there was a lot of limitations that I had. These were counter intentions. In order to tap into pure outer intention, our mission is to release all of the counter intentions, all the fears and all the doubts that we have, okay? So in this next part of the video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Make sure you stick around to the very end because this is going to be one of the most crucial things that you've seen. So let's get right to that. So now you understand the importance of releasing counter intention so that we can be purely aligned with our intention. So we can use the power of outer intention activated and have it work for us in our lives. I want to go back to Max Heindel and share another quote that he shares regarding this and the importance of this. The divine will is potent in proportion to the extent that the human will is made receptive to the influx of the divine. This is kind of important because it goes to show that this human vessel can channel divine will only when it is receptive to it. When the divine will and the personal will are in one line, they're in harmony, you're able to do better, you're able to do bigger. So have you ever noticed how the biggest companies in the world, their mission statement has always to do with helping people, with giving more, with being outward rather than taking? When your goals become aligned to the betterment of the universe and you can see how you achieving your goals benefits two or more people, you're actually slowly getting more and more attuned and aligned with the divine will. That's why a lot of people, like a lot of fathers that I speak to who become first-time dads and they also happen to be business owners, they always say how they started to make more money when they had a kid because they had more reason to provide and to give. When we tap into the intention of giving, we're actually channeling divine will. We automatically change our state of consciousness from the lower levels to a higher and higher level when we focus on giving and opening ourselves up. Now, this doesn't mean you can't achieve your goals and you have to be Mother Teresa. You just have to conceive of how your goals can benefit at least 2 or more people around you. If your goal is to make more financial freedom, you have to conceive how it could help your family, it could help others, and how you could serve more people as a result of doing it. When I was looking at my goal of having a large YouTube channel, I was looking at how I could serve the world more and give more to other people and share valuable stuff in this video that could serve other people for free. And that's why I believe it worked for me. We need to learn how to channel this divine will by getting our personal will, our petty, smaller self that always wants to take, to aligning it with giving. Because at the end of the day, you get what you give. Another way of saying this is we need to achieve an alignment in our heart and our minds, in the thoughts that we think and the feelings that we feel. Remember, we talked about this earlier on in the video, that when you think about the goal, you may be able to think about it conceptually with your mind, but in your heart you feel pangs of doubt, fear, and anxiety. That's the number one thing blocking you from getting to your goal. The key to getting pure congruence and alignment in divine and personal will is to release all counter intention. That is our goal here. And by the end of this, I'm going to share with you a 3-step method that is tried, tested, and true with over 1,000 clients that we've worked with. But before I get to that, I want to share with you more context of my story and a little bit about how I used it in my life so you understand how to better use it. When I got started off in this journey, before I started making YouTube videos, I was in college, my senior year in college, and I was doing a summer internship and I was supposed to go into a full-time engineering career. When I stepped into the factory that I was working in, a manufacturing plant, I went in and I looked at everyone and how miserable they looked. And they were all 30, 40 years older than me, close to retirement, and they were wanting to stick their arms in the machines to get workers' comp. And someone actually did, and he got like a decent amount of money that he never had to work again. It was messed up, okay? When I saw that, I was like, holy shit, I do not want my life to look like this. I do not want to be in this environment. What do I want instead? So from that deep place of pain, I made a decision. I looked at my life and I was like, you know what? To have everything that I want and more, I just need 20K a month. I could live the life of my dreams on $20,000 a month. Then I set a goal. I remember writing down on a piece of paper that by July 1st, 2019, I'll make 20K a month. Have my own business that does 20K a month. Mind you, back then I had no idea what business, I had no idea what to do, and so I was searching different opportunities, I was looking at trading, I was looking at drop shipping, everything. Nothing really resonated with me fully at the time. But then when I went through this whole process, I found out what it was, and I shared all of it throughout the channel in my other videos. But the one key thing that was missing for me is when I got started off in this journey, I had massive resistance to the idea of even conceiving I could do 20K a month. Because I had a poor relationship with money and I thought the rich were evil, and I thought I would never be able to make money because I wasn't business savvy, my dad wasn't a business owner, I wasn't raised by other successful business owners. I didn't think I could do it at all. And so every time I thought of the goal, I felt anxiety. The month that I was supposed to go full-time in my business when I was making YouTube videos, and I promised my parents I'd be making 5K a month so they would be okay with me quitting that job, which I got a full-time offer for. That month I made zero. The month of May 2019, I made absolutely zero. And that's the month I had to confront all of my demons, and I came across this method that was a big revelation for me. And so when I was feeling my lowest of lows, going through a dark night of the soul in May of 2019, I performed this method and went through a deep period of reflection. June of 2019, the next month, I did my first ever 5K month in the business. July, I believe I did a 8 or 12K month. This was a long time ago. And then August was my first ever 20K month, literally 3 months later. That goes to show the power of this method. When you learn to release all of the counter-intentions that you hold in your body at all times. These counter-intentions arise from our old programming, the old way of thinking and being and how we've accustomed ourselves because it was so familiar. So I'm going to show you how to do that. But understand that this is our goal. Every time you think of a goal, the thing that you want, how do you feel? What's the immediate feeling that arises? Is it a contraction or is it an expansion? If you feel contracted, if there's some sign of contraction, and by the way, sometimes it doesn't come up as soon as you think about the goal. Sometimes it comes up maybe a few hours or a few days after you think about the goal. There's that resistance. When it comes up though, that's a very, very good sign. That means you have something to work out. for most people, guess what? It's repressed. It's so unconscious that they can't even see it to be able to work on it. But when it arises, that's when we can work on it. And this doesn't mean you go searching for it. You simply think about your goal and you see what arises, okay? So now let's go to this method. I promise you this is going to be life-changing for you. The method is called letting go, or the surrender method. And I read this from a book by David R. Hawkins. This is one of the most life-changing books I've ever read. I read it like at least twice a year, and I've read it maybe over 6 times now. This is the number one method that every single client we share this with, they get immediate results with afterwards. This is how the method works. Number one, we spoke of this. You want to begin thinking about your goal. You may state an affirmation as it relates to the goal that you have. You may visualize the goal. You may simply just have a thought about the goal. So pick one goal, one main goal that you have. For me, it was that financial freedom. It was me operating my own business so that I never had to go into another 9-to-5 or a job ever again. So pick a goal and observe what comes up. So chances are there will be some form of resistance, because if there was no resistance, you would be living the goal right now. The fact that you're not living the goal right now means there is some form of resistance somewhere. So observe any sort of feeling. This could be just a slight feeling of closeness, a feeling of fatigue and tiredness, like, oh, I can't do it. Oh, that's too much work, whatever it may be. And when that feeling arises, accept it fully and watch. I know this seems overly simplistic. Believe me, I do. But the best solutions in life are usually the simplest ones. Go back to your goal, state it, watch it again, and see what comes up. And do this a few times. Repeat this cycle. And the third method is to ask for more of it. Ask for more of the resistance. What do I mean when I say ask for more of this resistance? When we feel some form of contraction, some form of resistance, most of the time what's happening is we think that having resistance is bad, because our goal is to be free of resistance. If our goal is to be free of resistance, then we believe that having resistance is bad. But guess what? When you believe that having resistance is bad, you're pushing on your resistance. You're resisting the resistance itself. And what happens when you push back on something? It pushes back on you. That's Newton's third law, reaction force. When our resistances are really, really strong, the more we try to suppress them. In my life, back when I was going through this time, and I had a lot of resistance, what I would do is I would try to run away from my resistances. I would try to replace my beliefs by doing an affirmation really quickly, or meditating really quickly, or doing some guided hypnosis really quickly. I would try to replace them instead of first accepting them and confronting them. Whatever you're going through in your life right now, have compassion for yourself. You're going through this for a reason. Something is coming up that needs to be dealt with. But what we do is we live through our worldly sensations and reactions of fight or flight. We usually, most of the time, fight against it, try to stuff it down, or we run away from it by escaping it in drugs, by escaping it in distractions. For me, what I was doing was binge eating. I would eat a lot of dessert, a lot of sugary foods every single night, and I would watch TV, and I would scroll through my Instagram feed, my Facebook feed. I would just scroll like mindlessly, just trying to run away from that feeling. Because this was such a tumultuous time for me. There was just so much pressure because my parents every single day were hounding on me like, what are you doing? Like, are you making any money? Like, why did you decide to do this with your life? And I totally get it, because they've grown up the mentally comfortable lifestyle where you don't take any risk and you sort of go for the safer option. Go to your 9-to-5, find a good job, be grateful that you're an employee. But I just didn't want that, right? And I'm sure a lot of you watching this don't want that. You don't want to settle for less. You want the absolute best, the creme de la creme of what life can offer. And that is available for you if you simply know how to optimize and use this human mechanism. If you simply have the courage to deal with all of the demons that are within you. This is how we do it. We simply ask for more of it. To turn off the resistance of the resistance, we simply open ourselves up to the resistance and let ourselves get flooded with the resistance. And in the moment, it feels horrible. But when it passes through you, you feel lighter and lighter. So when I did this in the month of May that I had absolute zero and I had felt like a complete failure, after a week or 2 weeks or so, I felt this sensation of lightness in the first couple of weeks of June. I just felt really, really light. And then the sales started pouring in, right? I didn't even expect it, right? The greatest things happen when you least expect it. And that's when I felt my absolute best and I felt so relieved of all burden. So this is the 3-step method that if you keep applying into your life, and this might take weeks, even months, but if you diligently stick to just this one method of releasing all counter-intention, you won't even have to focus on your goal or do some voodoo. The goal will happen. It will just happen at the right place at the right time, and intuitively, you'll notice more coincidences happening in your life. So now, I want to share with you something really, really important that will actually help you with this. The other thing that I learned from David R. Hawkins is that in life there are 3 paradigms of existence. There is the lowest level of all, which is the having paradigm, where the sole focus is what can I take? What can I take and what can I have? That's what the ego is focused on. A level above that, you're focused on doing. You're thinking about what can I do in order to have? What can I do? But at this level, you have a little more energy. At the having level, you're very devoid of energy, you're almost apathetic. You have very little energy and you just simply think about, oh, what can I have? What can I have? At doing, you're like, what can I do? What can I do? How can I stay active? But it's still not enough because you're still fighting. At doing, you're still battling. The highest paradigm of all is the being paradigm. When you become the right person, the right version of yourself, you become one with your goal. The doing, the actions that you take gets corrected. The right action simply flows through you as a result of alignment. When you become the ideal self, it becomes unnatural for you to take non-ideal actions. And when you become the right self, and when the right action follows, the right things also follow. When you start to view yourself as this kind of person, you will do this kind of thing, and you will subsequently have this kind of life. And in every single area of my life, this has proven to be true. When I became worthy of a 20K a month business, I became internally a 20K a month business owner, a 20K a month business happened for me. I made a comprehensive 40-minute long video for you on the art of identity shifting. When you learn to shift yourself at the very being level and you consciously do it, you're able to achieve the things that you want in your life with a lot more ease. So I made a completely free 40-minute long video for you. You can click right here to watch it right now. I urge you to go check it out, watch it right now, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.